Thank you, Ms. Azalia, and also Mr. Gabriel, for the introduction. Okay, hello again, everyone. Very good afternoon to all participants once again. My name is Pinkan. I'll be your moderator for today's event. And yeah, we are very honored to have our speakers for today's webinar, Dr. Richard Sutejo of Indonesia International Institute for Life Sciences, i3L Jakarta, and Mr. Djohan of PT Kalbe Farma Terbuka. I'm sure we'll learn valuable knowledge from both of them today. So prepare your notes, and yeah, if you would like to ask, of course, do not hesitate to type down your questions in the Q&A box below, and the speakers will answer them during the Q&A session after their talk. So make sure you stay until the end of the event. All right, so before we continue, allow me to briefly introduce you to the first speaker, Dr. Richard Sutejo. Dr. Richard Sutejo, STP PhD, is an Indonesian national. He won the NTU PhD scholarship program in 2006 and received his doctorate in biological sciences from Nanyang Technological University, Singapore in 2011. Prior to pursuing his doctorate, Dr. Sutejo taught food microbiology, food biochemistry, and food processing microbiology courses at Universitas Pelita Harapan, Indonesia. While pursuing his PhD, Dr. Sutejo worked as a research staff, and upon completion of his doctorate, he joined the Department of Physiology of National University of Singapore as a research fellow. With such research background, Dr. Richard Sutejo garnered 7 scientific journal publications under his name. Dr. Sutejo currently serving as the head of Master in Biomanagement program, joined i3L in 2014. His main research interest is host pathogen interactions in the field of, but not limited to, virology or microbiology. The understanding of the human body is able to regulate defense mechanisms against invading microorganisms. It is the key information required to strategize new therapeutic strategies. i3L currently remains the only institute in Indonesia which houses the state-of-the-art facilities to conduct such research. Today, Dr. Richard Sutejo will be giving a talk entitled Racing to Defeat Pandemics. Can Indonesia contribute? Interesting. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Richard Sutejo. The screen is yours, Pak.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for the very nice welcome, yeah, Ms. Pinkan, and I would like to greet a very good afternoon to everyone, yeah, participants, and also a very warm welcome to you, Pak Djohan. Yeah, I'm very grateful and honored, yeah, to have you, yeah, as one of the main speaker, yeah, to give more informations about business and opportunities of drug vaccines in the middle of COVID-19. Yeah, now, yeah, it remains a very hot topic for us nowadays. Yeah, since we are still in the middle of the pandemic. Okay, now let me share my screen. Okay, yeah, so the topic of my talk is Racing to Defeat Pandemics, Strategy and Opportunity. So can Indonesia contribute? Yeah, so why? Yeah, what is the reason for me putting up this topic? Yeah, because, you know, you see everywhere else around the world, you know, have suffered substantial casualties, substantial loss. Yeah, and we are as a 4th largest population in the world. Yeah, we will try to see, yeah, how we are able to put up our effort to defeat the pandemic. Yeah, not only nationally, yeah, but of course we can we also contribute. So that is the part where we can look and discuss together. Yeah, so everyone knows, yeah, that pandemics had been looming over us for the past 1 year, yeah, a little bit more than 1 year, and we are we are not certain whether we are managed to fight through, yeah, despite all of the vaccination efforts, right? So it occurs all everywhere around the world. So we are still looking, yeah, we are really looking forward, yeah, if we are able to fight, yeah, to strive through the pandemics of COVID-19, right? Because why? Yeah, currently in the most current data, yes, so there are more than 200 million confirmed cases with over 4.5 million deaths. So these casualties, of course, impact the productivity, right? And then the population, social economics, politics, yeah, and all other efforts, yeah, including, but not limited to the quality of life. Yeah, and then when you see the curve, yeah, you can see that there are peaks and valleys, peak and valleys, peak and valleys, because it used to be believed that whenever we pass this particular peaks, yeah, we are able to confer herd immunity. Also, we have heard all the time about this terminology, herd immunity. But unfortunately, yeah, we can see like multiple wave of infection. Yeah, so now, yeah, in the current fact, we are getting doubtful. Yeah, we are getting questioning. Yeah, we are questioning whether the this herd immunity still achievable, yeah, still exists or not. Yeah, so, but yeah, every scientist around the world are keeping the fight on this. Yeah, and then yeah, other than the health and quality of life, we also see the economic impact on COVID-19, yeah, that hits all around the world. Yeah, if you can see that they are predicted around 12% of the loss, yeah, the real income loss, yeah, in average, yeah, which of course will affect the life of a lot of people. Yeah, it will affect a lot of policies and etc. Which why we need to fight and race against defeating the COVID-19 pandemics. Yeah, if you look at this, yeah, there are three scenarios, yeah, of the economic impact, right? So yeah, at the very least, we will still lose, yeah, approximately 1.7 trillion, yeah, if we manage to control the pandemic by the end of 2021. So this is already inevitable loss. But if we do not manage to curb the pandemic, yeah, it will balloons up to 2.4 trillion. Yeah, according to the calculation and projection. Yeah, and then of course, yeah, we have read the worrying news. Yeah, I'm sure some of you have read the news, the emergence of a newest variant. Yeah, several months ago, many countries, according our own, yeah, was in fact is struck by the Delta variant. Yeah, which is one of the variant caused by the mutation of COVID-19. Yeah, of course, we cannot avoid that occurrences because COVID-19 is an RNA virus, yeah, and it has a frequent mutation compared to DNA virus. Yeah, so only by yesterday, a new variant came out. It is called mu variant. Yeah, mu variant. So it appeared at Colombia. Yeah, and WHO put it, yeah, in the category of the VOI, yeah, variant of interest. Yeah, whereas the Delta variant is VOC, variants of concern. Yeah, so they are yet still investigate, yeah, the fatality, infectivity, transmissibility, or how it can evade and break through a vaccine. Yeah, so it is still need to be determined. Yeah, but nevertheless, we should stay vigilant, and we should not underestimate this. Yeah, although mu variant is one level below the Delta variant. Yeah, we need to pay a close attention to this. Yeah, nevertheless, let us look at the COVID-19 timeline. Right, so from the development of this, right, so up until July, yeah, so we are still struggling. I would say they are still struggling. And then if you see like up to the December, we can have a new hope or new mutation. Yeah, we are still seeing that process. Yeah, and then in the end, are we seeing the lights at the end of the tunnel? Yeah, it seems like, when you look at the history behind, when you look at the 2020, when we are all need to be confined at home, many countries had undergo lockdown, with the hopes of curbing the pandemics. Some countries, if you see the example like Thailand, Vietnam, or Taiwan, it seems like they are successful at first, but at a certain point of time, they are breakthrough, and then they create a way for infections, right? And then towards the middle of 2021, we can see a huge emergence, which caused a lot of death in India and in Indonesia, due to the emergence of the Delta variant, right? Although you can see that the graph has been going down, does this marks the end of our fight? It is most likely not so, because just like the human, the virus seems to be fighting against us, seems to be racing against us, and we know for sure who the winner is, right? So what is our race? How do we fight against the viruses? So there are two primary strategies that the scientists use to fight against the COVID-19. So they are preventive or prophylaxis, and they are curative and therapeutic. So there are two. If you look at the preventive part, so there are multiple types, right? So they are creating some like DNA vaccines, mRNA, RNA, protein, or the viral vector, or attenuated vaccine. So there are multiple types, of vaccine that is developed. And then we have heard concern about the appearance of the breakthrough cases. A lot of people believe that the mRNA vaccines confer the highest protection among different types of vaccines. But we can take two countries, who administered mRNA vaccines, Israel and US. They are using the mRNA vaccines, but we are seeing cases where the virus managed to break through, and creating a new wave of infection, among the vaccinated ones. Although, the morbidity and mortality is relatively very low and manageable. That is why vaccination is still very much recommended, although they are breakthrough cases. So if you look the administered vaccines around the world, so there are different steps, that has been conducted, up until you see the color in use over here. And then the countries that are reporting in use. Of course, you can see here, the BioNTech is the highest one here. Right. So and then also what you can see, there are a lot of other companies, who also develop the vaccines as well. Yeah, so they are also joining the race, yeah, to fight against the pandemics. Yeah, and then yeah, how about the coverage of vaccination? Of course, if you look at this, these also pose as a challenge, right? Since if you can see from the list of the vaccines producer, yeah, most of them are from developed countries. And we need to, yeah, in order to effectively end the pandemics, we need to deliver the vaccines, right, in the good coverage globally all around the world. Yeah, and then you can see here there are disparities among the countries in terms of the coverage of vaccinations. Yeah, so it will pose a problem. Yeah, in most cases, yeah, for example, like mRNA vaccines, it needs to be stored in a better cold chain condition. For example, the freezing temperature like -20 or -80. So it is very challenging, yeah, for us to deliver it to the place where the infrastructure, yeah, is still very much limited. Right? For example, they do not have the low temperature storage, yeah, to preserve the vaccines. Otherwise, we can get a problem of ineffective vaccines or contamination. Right? And then, yeah, let us look at the other areas, which is the curatives or therapies for COVID-19. Yeah, so if you look at the regimen, at how the healthcare system treat the patient of COVID-19, yeah, so it consists of two areas, yeah, they are antiviral and symptomatic therapy. So for example, to treat the cytokine storms, yeah, the lowering of the oxygen saturation, yeah, comorbidities, and etc. Yeah, and when you look at this, yeah, there are candidates available, yeah, that are still under the test, yeah, or they have been discarded due to the lack of efficacy proof and high side effects. Yeah, of course, some of this has been discarded already. Yeah, then, yeah, how do we design an ideal drugs? Of course, yeah. Number one, it should prevent hospitalizations, yeah, and healthcare drain, yeah. So it will not overwhelm the system, do not overwhelm the healthcare workers and the healthcare cost, yeah. So that everyone will get sufficient and adequate treatments. Right, and then of course it is effective to reduce morbidity and mortality, so that all of the people who got contracted with COVID-19 only by using the drug, yeah, home isolation is sufficient. Yeah, so that is the ideal drugs. Yeah, and of course, again, it should be easy and cheap to manufacture. Yeah, so that it is available worldwide and affordable, including to the poor countries. Right now, when you look at all of the aspects, yeah, that is mentioned earlier, they are mentioned earlier. So what are the challenges of the global vaccination and drugs for COVID-19? Of course, number one, yeah, if we are looking at the the condition all around the world, of course, yeah, there are poor countries, developing countries, and developed countries, which differing level of healthcare infrastructures, right? Of course, for some of the developing countries and developed countries, there would pose little problems for them to manufacture, and to implement the strategy. But of course, the infrastructure are not sufficient, and especially many of those, yeah, place where they have a lack of manpower, funding, and infrastructure, yeah, they are highly dense. Yeah, they are highly populated countries, so that in majority all the populations are there. Yeah, then it will pose as a problem for us.
Yeah, and then, yeah, what we have here is, of course, the funding. Yeah. Tess, can you still hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I thought I lost the connection. Yeah. Okay. And then we will have the funding, of course. Right. So many countries all around the world, yeah, especially like, for example, in Africa and some part of Asia, yeah, and southern part of America, they will have a problem, yeah, in the funding. And then, of course, the process from the drug discovery and vaccines or therapeutic discovery, you know, when you looked at the process up until it is available to use, it will proven very lengthy because there are a lot of aspects need to be assessed. And then you need to pass through sufficient, lengthy, and very expensive clinical trials, right? And then only if they have been proven effective, it can be distributed globally. Yeah, so if you look at the condition of the drug discovery, yeah, the average length, if you total up from, yeah, just from the target discovery to the clinical trials, yeah, it can last up to more than 10 years, yeah, which the average cost can reach in the range of billions of dollars. Yeah, of course, you know, due to the lengthy process and due to the high cost, there will be, yeah, that will hinder the efforts for us to raise and defeat the pandemics, right? And then, yeah, if you look at the strategy, yeah, are there any other methods? Yeah, are there any other methods that we can employ to defeat the COVID-19? Yeah, if you look here, there are three primary methods. Yeah, so first, of course, we can do the analysis of the SARS-CoV-2, the one on the right, right? So yeah, they are advantage. Yeah, they can target specific drugs that can effectively kill the coronavirus. The disadvantage is long process. Yeah, and then the first one, if you see on your left, is drug repurposing. Yeah, so we are testing, yeah, the already approved drug. Yeah, why? Yeah, because the dosage, efficacy, yeah, the absorption, desorption, metabolism, excretion, and etc. toxicity profiling are known, yeah, as they have been approved, so that it is easier and it can accelerate the process of approval. Yeah, but the disadvantage, yeah, some of them can be broad spectrum and may not able to target the coronavirus. Yeah, and then also the one in the middle, yeah, the high throughput virtual screening. Yeah, so we are looking at the library of compounds. Yeah, so we look at the library of compounds. We look at the suitability. Yeah, based on the molecular analysis. Yeah, and then what we are doing is we are seeing the lock and key mechanism to see if they are able to effectively inhibit the coronavirus. Yeah, but still, yeah, nevertheless, you still need to do clinical and preclinical trials before you get the market approvals. Yeah, so yeah, from those process, yeah, drug repurposing seems to be the closer candidate here. Yeah, since we are racing against time, yeah, since we are racing against time, yeah, so we are trying to look at the drug repurposing, yeah, the one on the left. Yeah, so they are targeting, yeah, all of the known sites, yeah, all of the known targets for the virus, yeah, from different bank. Yeah, so we can do a molecular analysis here, which considers shape similarity, docking, and interaction similarity, and then we screened, yeah, and then we get the drugs, yeah, and then we will, yeah, look further, yeah, to see the efficacy of the drugs that are able to fight against COVID-19. Yeah, why? Yeah, the time for drug development can be reduced. Yeah, and then has already found to be safe. So drug repurposing strategy, yeah, is one of the most suitable, one of the most feasible at the moment. Yeah, so they are one group of researcher, yeah, which attempt to screen through a library of drugs. Yeah, they have found some compounds. Yeah, but when you look at this compound, right, many of them are monoclonal antibody. Yeah, so and then there are some. Yeah, if you look, there are a lot of monoclonal antibodies and antiviral. Yeah, and it is highly likely that this compound, either they have the patent or they are still very expensive to manufacture. And then there are not many infrastructures, especially in the developing countries, to produce this drug. So will they offer the new solution? Yeah, there needs to be a lot of studies for this. Now, yeah, here we go. Yeah, how can Indonesia contribute? So, yeah, if we are talking about this, yeah, of course, they are mixed. They are mixed of reviews. They are mixed of opinions. Yeah, some are optimistic, some are pessimistic, right? And then, yeah, in order for us to make a first step, of course, we need to look at our positioning, yeah, in terms of drug discovery, yeah, what are the advantages, how we sit in terms of drug discovery, right, compared to other countries, even to the developed one, right? So, yeah, when you look, they are biodiversity, ethnobotany, and ethnopharmacy. Yeah, so those are the advantages of Indonesia. Yeah, so when you look at the positioning here, right? Now, yeah, okay, we have so many biodiversity. We have ethnobotany and ethnopharmacy that spread from Sabang to Merauke. So how are we going to kickstart? And how, yeah, from that particular point, we can build up so that in the end, we are able to contribute. Yeah, of course, yeah, the most feasible way, yeah, so we look at ethnobotany, ethnopharmacy. How these particular plants, known one, yeah, I mean, like we can start from the known one, yeah, from the ethno-guided approach. Ethno-guided means that when you look at the local wisdom, when you look at how particular plants are used, yeah, during the old times or even the ancient times, yeah, where are they, I mean, like which ailment, which diseases were they usually been used? Yeah, so we can screen from there, we select those, yeah, that are closely resemble viral infection for this. Yeah, that is what we call it ethno-guided approach, right? But of course, yeah, we are on the omics era where we can screen thousands of compounds, right? We can of course expand this capability even more. Yeah. So ethno-guided is just to make the research faster, but yeah, it is optional, of course. Yeah. So and then we harvest, we get the plant material. Yeah, it's not limited only to plants. Yeah, this is phytomedicines. Yeah, it can be from other sources. Yeah, from the marine medicines or phytomedicines. Yeah, so we extract, we get the standardized, right, and then we do the clinical analysis, preclinical toxicologies, and then in the end we will create the medicine. Yeah. So when when we have been asked, how are we going to implement this? Yes, of course, we need to leverage what we call the more advanced technology, yeah, in the vision or mission of our drug development. Yeah, so yeah, based from the ethno guidance, yeah, or from the molecular screening, yeah, so we can see the suitability of the target COVID-19 molecules, and then we will match it with the active compound or active ingredient based from the library whether it is ethno-guided or not. Yeah, but ethno-guided is better because there have been a lot of documentation about the toxicity, the safety dose, and etc. Yeah. So after that, we can do the shape similarity, docking, and interaction. Yeah. So we can study how in silico or in computer models, yeah, how they are can be targeted, yeah, although in prediction. After you get, let's say, a number of compounds, of course, you need to validate them using in vitro screening, yeah, using the virus that is grown in the cellular models, yeah. Then you will have the compound screen further, and then you move to the in vivo screening. Yeah, usually people use mice, yeah, or ferret, or even monkeys. Yeah, in vivo screening. After that, yeah, we can do clinical trials, which eventually it will become the basis of active ingredients for drugs. Yeah, so this is, yeah, judging from how, yeah, how it is framed, this is the most closest, right? This is the most visible on how we are moving, yeah, and leveraging Indonesia advantage, yeah, to make Indonesia participate in the race to defeat the pandemics. So if you look at the advantages here, it is well studied. They have more extensive toxicological data because it has been used since the very old times. Yeah, and then the geographical properties of the materials, because we know where it grows, we know how we can cultivate them, and then we know how to harvest them. Yeah, so if you want to upscale it up to the production level, it is relatively more straightforward, right? And then the extrapolation analysis of the drug, because the dosage, yeah, have also been documented in the ancient times. For example, like how much spoonful, you know, how many glass, yeah, how you prepare the drugs and etc. Yeah, and then, yeah, since it has been used a long time, you can most likely get accelerated approval and commercialization. And then since Indonesia, for example, in Indonesia condition, yeah, we are more familiar with our own medicines. Yeah, it is generally better accepted, yeah, in the faster manner. But it will not come without challenges. Yeah, of course, to implement that, yeah, research costs may still pose some of the challenge, yeah, and then also like the infrastructure, yeah, and then sometimes policy and protection of intellectual rights, yeah, especially when you want to incur a high research cost. Who wants to pay for all of this, for example? Yeah, because I mean, like in terms of private, yeah, if they are not able to claim intellectual rights, yeah, there will be challenges, yeah, on how people will take charge of this. Yeah, and then we also need to discover, especially when the certain plants or certain biodiversity are rare. Yeah, so you need, yeah, to cultivate and distribute it island-wide, yeah, for all over Indonesia. Yeah, especially for plants that is exclusively only grow in Papua or in a very remote location in Nusa Tenggara. If you have found, let's say, if you have found the potential, the high potential, yeah, and you want to use it nationally or even globally, you need to figure out how to cultivate and distribute it even worldwide. Right? So this is also become a challenge. Yeah. And for this, of course, you must involve multiple parties, yeah, so that you require consortia and combined effort, yeah, governments, academician, and industry. Yeah, so yeah, if looking at this fact, looking at how we are able to make approach, yeah, as our contribution to end the pandemic. So every participants over here, yeah, as much as we can, let us contribute to end the pandemic by forming this triple helix, yeah, by the academic, yeah, university, yeah, industry, and the government. Yeah, so we will form this triangle at least, yeah, to accelerate this process. Yeah, and these are my references, and thank you very much for the attention. Yeah, hopefully my talk will be useful and become an inspiration for you, yeah, to do a kickstart, yeah, so that we can end the pandemic together. Okay, thank you very much. I would like to return this back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pa Richard, for the super informative presentation. Despite the challenges, the great challenges you just mentioned, it's thrilling to see that there are actually chances for our nation,
Yes,
for Indonesia, to strategically participate ending the pandemic. So thank you very much for presenting it.
You're welcome.
So yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of questions going on the participants' minds. So please, Bapak Ibu, all participants, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to type it in the Q&A box during the presentation. That's fine, and we'll answer the questions after the talk. Yeah, after Pak Djohan's talk. All right. So yeah, next we'll be listening to our next honorable speaker, Mr. C. Djohan, who will talk about business opportunities of COVID-19 drugs and vaccines in Indonesia. Hello again, Pak C. Djohan.
Hello.
Yeah. So
good afternoon, everybody.
All right. So brief information about Mr. C. Djohan, Indonesian citizen born in Medan in 1967. Pak C. Djohan has been the director of PT Kalbe Farma Terbuka since 2017. Mr. Djohan earned his bachelor degree in pharmacy from University of Indonesia in 1990. He started his career at Kalbe Group by serving as group marketing manager at PT Dankos Farma in 1996 until 2001. In 2001 until 2006, he served as assistant marketing director of PT Dankos Farma. In 2006 until 2007, he served as Assistant Director of Corporate Business Development and Management System of PT Kalbe Farma Tbk, and in 2007 until present, as Director of Corporate Business Development, Management System and Regulatory Affairs of PT Kalbe Farma Tbk. Currently, he also serves as President Commissioner of PT Inolab Science International, President Director of PT Bifarma Ariluhung, President Director of Kalgen DNA, President Director of PT Kalbe Genexin Biologics, President Director of PT Kalbe Biotech Indonesia, President Director of PT Kalbayo Global Medica, and Director of Inogen Kalbiotech Private Limited. So without further ado, please welcome Mr. C. Djohan. Screen is yours, Pak.
Thank you, Talita, for a very nice introduction. Once again, good afternoon to everyone. I will try to present to you. I think after hearing Richard's presentation, I find there are several slides might be overlap, but no worry, I will just skip it, and then we have a discussion after that. I will try to be very brief and maybe give more time for discussion. I believe there will be a lot of questions after the presentation. Okay. Now I will share my slide. Okay, can you see my slide?
Yes, Pak, it's visible.
Okay, sorry. Okay, is it okay now? The slide? Can you all see the slide? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll talk about healthcare technology and the pandemic. So I will just skip this slide because I think Pak Richard already talked about it. Yeah. And almost the same slide in pie chart, we see a wave after wave of a surging of infection, and it is predictable from the beginning. It will happen. Yeah, a lot of casualty, and also the impact on global economy. Yeah, if many people predict that it will be a V shape if we have a one wave, but we have a wave after wave after wave. So now we see not just a V shape, it is a W shape, and I think will be triple U, quadruple U, several, you know, I believe there will be another wave coming, despite all the vaccination that have been done. And I think it is very interesting to see how people respond to COVID-19 through innovation. Yeah. So to end the pandemic, innovation in the detection, treatment, and prevention of SARS-CoV-2 is required, and we all see that is that all happen. Yeah. And you know, beside the pandemic, I think the future of healthcare, if I really think about it, there are several technology might be very important in transforming our healthcare going forward to the future. Number one is a biotechnology. I think number two is information technology, and the combination of both bioinformatics will be very important. And then robotics and nanotechnology. I think these four technology will transform healthcare in the future. So we need to pay attention on development of this technology. So if we are talking about the detection of COVID-19, we see that diagnostic innovation, diagnostic for detection of COVID-19 has developed rapidly. So in a very short period of time, we see the development of a rapid antibody test, rapid antigen swab test, and then PCR, also the serology test to quantitative serology to measure the antibody. So all happen in a very short period of time. And we see the increasing in speed, accuracy, and convenience, while at the same time also reducing the cost. For example, for RT-PCR, I remember in the early stage of the pandemic, maybe we need to pay maybe 2 million or even more if you want a rapid result. Let's say a one-day result will pay very, very expensive. And the last government control the price. And I think now for PCR test, everybody can get it at less than 500,000 in just 8 hours. So, and to anticipate all this development and also try to contribute to solve this pandemic, in Kalbe, we also work very hard to develop the diagnostic kit. So currently we have...
sorry to interrupt, Pak Djohan. I
yes.
think the screen share is not full.
It's not full?
Yes.
Oh,
this is what one of the participant typed. I think this truncated on the side. So I think what you can do is...
I stop share and try to share again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, I think
is it better now?
Yes, I think so.
But I cannot, sorry, I have problem in a slideshow. Maybe I should do it this way.
Okay, let us see.
Sorry about this.
Yeah, yeah, no problem, Pak. So I think the word resume slideshow is shown.
Okay.
Yeah, it's resume slideshow. Yeah. Yes, that one. I think that is the part.
Remove slideshow.
Ah, yes, this is better.
Better?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So in Kalbe, we respond rapidly. Also, currently we already manufacture two diagnostic kits. One is based on a PCR test, and the other one is based on a RT-LAMP platform. And besides that, we also provide the services. So our lab, Kalgen Innolab, I think now is one of the lab that provide quite a lot of testing for COVID-19. Besides the diagnostic, I think the wearable and early detection of disease is also important. As you know, for COVID-19, maybe we need to check the oxygen saturation, the O2 saturation, and temperature, and many other things. I think all that can be done conveniently, comfortably with this wearable. And I think this is also a very important development that we need to pay attention to. In terms of prevention of COVID-19, I think everybody talk about vaccine because to create the herd immunity, if you let the natural infection to create the herd immunity, it will take a very big casualty to achieve the herd immunity naturally. So I think the best solution is through vaccination to achieve the herd immunity. Yeah. Even though we see a lot of issues with that, we see the protection of the vaccine is also winding down over time. The level of antibody is winding down months after vaccination. And we see a lot of breakthrough infection, but luckily, as I mentioned by Pak Richard, but the morbidity and mortality remain under control because of the T-cell response is still there. And vaccine innovation, as mentioned by Pak Richard, previously, the development of vaccine took quite a very long time. Yeah, it took years, even decades. So as you can see, how long it will take to develop a typhoid vaccine, meningitis. It took 10 of years to develop that. Yeah, but with all the development, all the technology currently available, we see how SARS-CoV-2 vaccine can be developed and deployed, commercialized within just less than 1 year. This is a really very important thing that we need to put attention to. Yeah, how drug development, vaccine development, if needed, can be accelerated in such a way that we can have a functional vaccine just within less than 1 year. Yeah, and currently we know we have maybe 6, 7, 8 vaccines available in the world, and it is developed in multiple platforms. We have the inactivated virus vaccine, we have DNA, mRNA, we have a peptide recombinant protein vaccine available now for use. And how have vaccine for COVID-19 been developed so fast? Number one, because of the collaboration and priority, the same goals, the same priority among scientists, doctors, ethics approval board, manufacturer, regulatory agency have all come together to work harder and faster. That is the reason how we can make it happen within such a short period of time. And then number two is the science itself, advanced in vaccine technology that are built on the back of many years of research. And number three, volunteer. Yeah, so we need to thank all these volunteers, tens of thousands of the keen volunteers for clinical trials. So to do the recruitment has not been an issue for this vaccine development. And of course, the manufacturer, large-scale manufacturing of the vaccine also occurred in parallel with the clinical trials. So this is what people do. Usually we wait for the clinical trials, complete the clinical trial, successful with the clinical trial, and then after that we start to do the manufacturing. But we cannot do that for COVID-19. It takes too long. So from the manufacturing side, they take the risk also to prepare everything, do the large-scale manufacturing, even before the vaccine is approved for use. And last is the funding itself. So we see government and also other funding bodies have joined force to remove all these financial obstacles. So we all read the news how the US provide hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars to the company that are developing the vaccine. We all know that Moderna received more than 400 million government grant to develop a Moderna vaccine. Yeah. So that is what happened. This is a collaboration effort that make all this happen. And the question is, if we can make it happen for COVID-19 vaccine, why can't we also make it happen for other much needed medication in the future? And one important development, if we see during this pandemic, is the genetic vaccine or the gene therapy in the future. So gene therapy have been quite popular in research during the 90s, but then lack of lost attention. But lately, because people have reservation, they are still not very sure about the long-term side effect of gene therapy. But through this pandemic, we see all this mRNA, DNA vaccine used widely. I think most of the vaccine that are now used, besides the inactivated virus and also protein recombinant, basically is a gene therapy. Yeah, it is just the delivery system is different. Some of them use viral vector to deliver the genetic material into our cells. Some of it use nanoparticle, lipid nanoparticle, such as Moderna, Pfizer, they use a nanoparticle. AstraZeneca, CanSino, Sputnik, they use a viral vector to deliver the DNA. And some of them, such as the vaccine that developed by Genexin and also Kalbe, we do not use that modality of delivery system, but we use electroporation. So, this drug delivery system is also developed very well and used in many kind of vaccine now available. So DNA and mRNA vaccine offer huge advantage over traditional type of vaccine since they use only the genetic code from the pathogen. Yeah, so it is faster to develop and easier to manufacture, so that we can take this vaccine quicker to the market. Once scientists get the genetic sequence of a new pathogen, they can design the DNA or mRNA vaccine in days, and then identify a lead candidate for clinical trials within weeks and have millions of those manufactured within months. So this is the advantage of DNA and mRNA vaccine. Then gene therapy vaccine also produce precise and effective immune response. They stimulate not only the antibodies that block the infection, but also a strong T-cell response that can clear an infection if one occurs. So antibody basically block the entrance of the virus into our cell so that we do not get infected. But once it gets infected, it is the T-cell response that is important, because this T-cell then will kill the cells that is already infected. And usually the advantage of the T-cell response, usually they last much longer than the antibody itself. So usually antibody can last within months, but for T-cell response can last for years. So, and during this pandemic, first proof of concept of nucleic acid vaccine, actually, as I mentioned, this gene therapy initially very popular in 1990s. So the first proof of concept of nucleic acid vaccine also done in 1990, when mice was injected with gene from a foreign pathogen to elicit an immune response. And currently, we all know that the two most successful vaccines against COVID-19 are mRNA vaccine from Pfizer and also from Moderna. And in Kalbe, we also respond quickly to develop a DNA vaccine together with Genexine. So we use two plasmids in our vaccine. One is the plasmid that encodes the spike protein, and the second one is the plasmid that encodes the RBD of spike protein as well as the nucleocapsid protein. And we believe this kind of combination have advantage because most of the mutation happen in this variant is basically, most of them happen at the spike protein. So spike protein of a Delta variant will be different from Alpha variant. That's why some vaccine, their effectiveness is declining for Delta variant, is not as effective for Delta variant compared to the wild type. But for nucleocapsid protein, we all know that it is seldom mutated. So mutation is seldom in the nucleocapsid protein. That's why we believe that this vaccine have the potential to be effective for many variant of COVID-19. And besides vaccine, I think I will talk a little bit about the treatment for COVID-19. Yeah, here we see the bioinformatics. So Richard talked about the bioinformatics, the screening, everything. Yeah, but the new way of drug discovery, one of them will be protein, other molecular machine that make your cells function. When protein malfunction or hijacked by a pathogen, you often get the disease. However, single protein working in isolation are usually not solely responsible for the disease. Gene and the protein that encode are part of the complicated network, as you can see at the right side of the slide. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, scientists started mapping the extensive network of human protein that SARS-CoV-2 hijacked, so it can replicate. And by doing that, they found 69 compounds that influence the protein in the coronavirus network were identified. And amazingly, 25 of them are products that are already FDA approved for treatment for other illness. So for example, we all know interleukin-6. Initially, it is developed and approved for rheumatoid arthritis, but now it's widely used to overcome the cytokine storm caused by COVID-19. Yeah. So this map are allowing us to connect the dot among many seemingly disparate aspects of single disease and discover new way drugs could treat them. So I think this is what Pa Richard say about the repurpose, yeah, of the available medicine. But to do the repurposing, you really need to understand the mechanism, the network that are caused by this infection. In summary, COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated innovation in the field of biotechnology. The use of bioinformatics and machine learning in therapy development is very helpful in accelerating this process. First proof of efficacy for nucleic acid vaccine, as we all witness now. And I think this will really open up the potential of gene therapy in the future, not just for viral infectious disease, but also for many other degenerative disease. So I think we will all see that gene therapy will develop very, very quickly in the near future for medication. Rapid iteration and also development of diagnostic and real-time monitoring and detection of disease through wearable. So I think we all understand that using the information technology, developing apps, telemedicine really help during this pandemic situation. In Kalbe also, we have a lot of people that have to do a self-isolation, helping them with the consultation with a medical doctor through teleconsultation, help them to purchase the medication they need online and then delivery the medication to them. So all this can happen by leveraging the potential of information technology. That's why I said that information technology will also transform healthcare in the future. Many of the innovation will last through the post-pandemic era, allowing us to more rapidly and effectively respond not only to future pandemics, but to healthcare as a whole. So I think I will conclude my talk here. Thank you very much. I'll be glad to answer any question if there's any. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pa Djohan, for another informative presentation. It's always exciting to see how business world have been ignited by science and how science has been serving us, has been serving the human lives well during the pandemic. How we can discover new ways of, new ways of living through science in this just 1.5 years. Everything got changed in short time. So yeah, Bapak Ibu, those two presentations were really exciting to see and to listen. So we're glad to take your questions. If you have any, we actually do have one. The first one is from Alvaro Lico. We'll just jump into the Q&A session, yeah, Pak. Okay, so the first one, I'll read it from Alvaro Lico. Despite having huge potential in the in silico and in vitro level, the development of natural products as medicines are sometimes limited to clinical trials due to poor pharmacological properties, such as rapid elimination. Yeah. How can we improve the potential of natural products in clinical settings as an alternative to synthetic medicines, especially in Indonesia? Yeah. Who would like to answer?
I think this is more related to my slide.
All right, Pak.
Right.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, of course, if Pak Djohan wants to add, yeah, we are very welcome, Pak. Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah. So if you can see here, if we are doing, natural in silico and in vitro, of course, they are more simplistic system. Yeah, of course, when you find a promising, yeah, when you move up to the in vivo, which multiple organs, which a more complex system that's being implemented, of course, unpredictable occurrences will occur. One of them is rapid elimination, stability, loss of the stability, you know, like compound breakdown or a barrier, like for example, it cannot reach to the targeted organ or system, etc. Now, that is why usually when you are doing a compound screening, you cannot do a very limited amount. Yeah, when you do a compound screening, because you know, in the later stage, you will hit this kind of problem. Yeah, however, I mean, like if you look at the pharmaceutical field, sometimes they are attempts. Yeah, for example, they are extracting in a much wider spectrum so that they can get a more stable form, or you know, some of them can attempt to do alteration or the structure to create a more stable counterparts. Yeah, or they are adding additive, yeah, to increase the stability of the compound. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends on the active compounds that are being identified. Yeah, so there are multiple ways. Yeah, but if you want to do it in the easiest way, you need to increase, you know, the range of your screening process. Yeah, you need to screen even more. Yeah, but Indonesia has unlimited sources. Yeah, that is my answer.
Thank you, Pak Richard. Yeah.
So if I may add something, Pak Richard.
Sure.
Yes, Pak. Yeah, please, Pak.
Yeah, I think there are several ways to take our, you know, natural product, yeah, for clinical use, especially in a clinical setting. So I think I agree with Pak Richard. We can start with standardizing the extract. Yeah, because if you just use the Simplicia, it will be very difficult.
Yes.
To take it to the clinical setting. I think we need to standardize the extract. We need to learn more about the active component of the natural product. And once we get a standardized extract, I think we'll be ready to do some clinical study if needed. We don't need to get all the way to the single active ingredient. Yeah, it's just a standardized extract will be good enough. And yep. I think it is acceptable to do a clinical study with this standardized extract. And when you prove the efficacy of this standardized extract of natural product through the clinical study, I think it is well accepted. And you can get, in Indonesia, we call it Phytopharmaka.
Phytopharmaka, yes.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Richard and Pak Djohan, for answering the question. I hope it answers your question, Alvaro Lico. And the next one we have from Alia Zahra. I think it's a simple but hard to answer. Right now, there are many people who are vaccinated, but they still got COVID, the disease. Yeah, who would like to answer the question? Perhaps Pak Djohan. You're still muted, Pak.
Okay, I will try to answer this question. Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, we all know that even though you get vaccinated, yeah, we still observe that there are quite a lot of breakthrough infection. We do some small survey, some small research, and we found that you know, in Indonesia, most of us get the inactivated virus vaccine, right? Whether it's a Sinovac or a Sinovac, and we see a breakthrough rate of around 4 to 5%. So it's just a very high, and I think, but still, it is still a little bit lower than unvaccinated people. But the most important thing that we can observe is if you are vaccinated, the risk for you to get very sick, need hospitalization, or even need the ICU is reduced dramatically. Yeah. So there's still a lot of benefit to get the vaccine. So, because I think this virus will be with us for a very, very long time, and it will become endemic, and we will see COVID as a seasonal flu. And if that happens, we might need the vaccine every year. And it might come every year with a different variant.
Yes.
Just like the flu.
Just like the flu.
we need to prepare for that. Yeah. Hopefully answer your question.
Yeah, I hope it answers your question, Ms.
Yeah.
Alia. Yeah, you would like to ask?
Yes, yes. I mean, like if you want to look back during the Spanish flu, yeah, where it kills hundreds of millions worldwide. Yeah, so the development of vaccination, of course, yeah, in the many ways, like what Pak Djohan mentioned, yeah, may not eradicate. I repeat, may not eradicate the disease entirely. We need to remember coronavirus, just like influenza virus, is RNA virus, which is have tendency for the mutation. Yeah, is RNA vaccines. Sorry, RNA virus. Yeah. So you know, the rise and fall. Yeah, and the appearance season. I mean, like in a seasonal way is expected. But if we are vaccinated, we are well equipped, right? At the very least, we will not burden our healthcare, infrastructure, healthcare manpower, and healthcare funds, because you can just simply rest at home and recover, just like normal flu. Yeah, so it will not, you will not need to do a lockdown and etc. because it is easily managed. Yeah, so that will be my answer.
Yeah, maybe I can ask something. I mean, maybe the question is why we still see the increase of infection despite all this vaccination happen. But I think we need to see it this way. The increase of infection lately is not because of the vaccination. It is because of the Delta variant that are more infectious, yeah, and can spread more quickly. That is why we see more infection lately in Indonesia. Yeah, that is the cause. So I think it is not related to the vaccination rate that are happening now.
All right, I think the answer is very clear and straightforward. It's not because of the vaccines. So I hope everybody is vaccinated already and will got vaccine if you are not already. So yeah, next question from Kenny Yonatan. As DNA vaccine has not yet been approved by the FDA, Kalbe's decision in developing a DNA vaccine for COVID-19 can be a daring move. However, as most previously developed DNA vaccines has low immunogenicity issues, the risk of failure due to low effectiveness may be waiting as well. Thus, how Kalbe will manage the risk, especially financial risk, in the case of failure in the development of the vaccine. Yeah. I believe this is for you, Pak Djohan. Yeah.
Yes, I think the question is for me. Yeah. You know, if you really look at the vaccine development, many of these vaccines basically use DNA. As I mentioned before, most of the viral factor vaccine is basically a DNA vaccine.
Yes.
They just use the vehicle, the virus, to enable to penetrate into our cells, so they can take all this genetic material into our cells, right? So DNA vaccine is not an issue. It is already widely used. AstraZeneca vaccine, Johnson & Johnson, Sputnik, CanSino, all are DNA vaccine, but use viral factors. Using viral factors can cause another problem. And what is that problem? The side effect. Because if you really look at what happened, most of the blood clot side effect happen with this viral factor vaccine. Yeah. Because the vehicle itself, the virus itself, the adenovirus itself, also induce the immunogenic response, not to COVID-19, but to adenovirus itself. And because of that, usually you cannot use adenoviral vaccine multiple times. It will not be effective. The first time you use it, it's okay. The virus can penetrate get into your cells with all this the DNA inside the virus. But when your body develops antibody toward this adenovirus, the second time you give it, this antibody will block the virus to get into your cells. And it will create more antibody toward this adenovirus. So the third injection will be less effective. The fourth injection will be even less effective. That is the problem with the viral vector vaccine. That's why, you know, if you look at the Sputnik 5 vaccine, they use it as booster, but the first injection and the second injection, they use a different type of adenovirus. Yeah. And understanding this a problem, then Kalbe and Janex, we choose a different way to deliver the DNA into the cells. We are not using adenovirus. We are not using lipid nanoparticles, but we are using electrical shock. We are using electroporation. So our DNA virus, when you inject it, after we inject all the vaccine inside your muscle, and then we will apply a little bit electric shock. And this electric shock will open the cell, the membrane of your cells, and then this DNA will get into your cells. Yeah. So the immunogenicity is a good. Yeah. The problem is if you cannot get the DNA into your cell, then you will not get the immunogenicity effect. That is the problem. But if you can have an effective way getting this plasmid, this DNA plasmid into your cells and into the nucleus of your cells, then it will be very effective. And we understand the situation, and we understand that the method we choose is the safest method. Yeah, with a very low side effect. So in a way we take risk, yes, but I think it is a very calculated risk that we take. Hopefully that answers your question also.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Djohan, for the answer. I hope it answers Kenny Yonatan. And yeah, while waiting for other questions, it's always exciting to also discuss about the future and like the development and potential of healthcare technology in the future, especially in Indonesia, because you both talk about the future of the future, how Indonesia can contribute, and also how specifically Indonesia can contribute through Kalbe Farma. Yeah, perhaps we can discuss about that while waiting for other questions. Please, Bapak Ibu, if you still have questions for the speakers, please type it in the Q&A box. But yeah, perhaps Pak Richard or Pak Djohan can talk more about the potential of the technology. Yeah.
I'll talk a little bit more about this. Yeah, I think I'm quite intrigued by Pak Richard's question. How can Indonesia contribute, right? I think maybe the way I see it, the scope of my thinking is not that wide, but I always ask also, can Kalbe contribute, right? And we try to do it. I think, you know, I see that not just in Indonesia, if you look across Southeast Asia, not many pharmaceutical companies really engaging into drug development activities, right? I know that Singapore, maybe they have several projects in discovery stage, basically, but not really into the clinical development pathway. So we see this opportunity, and I ask myself, why can't we have this kind of activities in this region in Southeast Asia? Because when I look at the China or India, I went to China maybe, if you look at China 15 years ago, the situation is almost the same. Most of the pharmaceutical company only manufacture generic product and then commercialize it. But now, if you go to China, you can find a lot of pharmaceutical company actively doing drug development activities. And they come with you know, now a lot of a novel biologic product is being developed in China. They are very, very, you know, advanced now. And that inspired me. And that's why I think we need to build this kind of pharmaceutical company, this kind of drug development activities in Indonesia also. That's why through KG Bio, Kalgen Genexin Biologic, we engage into these activities, develop novel biologic product especially. And one of them is this COVID-19 vaccine. But I think at the same time, now we are also doing a phase 2 study with our interleukin-7, also to treat COVID. But that is for the treatment of the COVID disease. So we have several molecules, and I think through this kind of activities, we try to contribute. And by, you know, other things we do, understanding that we'll need this vaccine immediately, we also collaborate with the vaccine manufacturer. And we already decided also to dedicate that one of our manufacturing facility, dedicated it to manufacture vaccine. So we expect by Q4, quarter 4, Kalbe also can contribute in manufacturing vaccine beside the Genexin 1 for Indonesian people. That is how we contribute. Yeah, and beside that, I think Kalbe, we also manufacture a lot of antiviral, multivitamins, things that are medication that are needed by COVID patients. As I mentioned before, also the diagnostic kits, the service to do the COVID testing. So all kind of things, we try to do it as quick as possible, so that we can contribute to you know, to overcome this problem in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Djohan. Yeah, it's because the development of this virus is very rapid. We need another, you know, rapid method to also tackle this pandemic. Awesome, yeah, awesome to see how Kalbe will be in the part of the solution. Maybe Pak Richard would like to add, yeah, regarding the, you know, the potential of the healthcare technology in tackling the pandemic, before we move on to the question from Rika.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, you know, during the COVID-19 era, yeah, of course, we see a lot of, you know, introduction of the new technologies. One of the DNA vaccines. Yeah, I think like, but Djohan, correct me if I'm wrong. DNA vaccine is supposed to be easier in terms of distribution because it requires less cold chain treatment. Yeah, so it does not require a super freezing temperature like mRNA vaccines, if I understand correctly.
The storage condition for DNA vaccine is only
4 degrees. Yes.
Yeah, just chilling a common refrigerator is sufficient.
Yes.
And it is also stable for several days if you just put it at room temperature.
Yes, yeah. Compared to the mRNA vaccines, I think if you put it at room temperatures, within minutes they already degrade.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That is why also I think the government of Indonesia prioritize virus attenuated vaccines compared to mRNA, because a lot of people ask why we don't get mRNA vaccines, Pfizer, Moderna, and etc. But you need to understand that cold chains is a very expensive process, yeah, logistics, and Indonesia in a lot of the rural areas, we have a difficulties of maintaining those. Yeah, they require a freezing temperature to be stable. Yeah, and then also coming back to DNA vaccines, yeah, since you know, especially when we see a lot of cases of mutant, you know, like mutants, and then we see like problems or how to quickly distribute the vaccine all over Indonesia. Of course, I mean, like, you know, exploration of a different type of vaccine, like what Pak Djohan mentioned, is also very paramount. Right? And then I also see, Pak Djohan, I mean, like, I just look at the plasmid mapping, Pak, yeah. So the innovations that you are putting multiple expression system, Pak. So you are expressing the spike proteins S1 and S2, the SRBD, the receptor binding domain, and NP. So you are expressing 3 different types compared to one, right? mRNA only one, right? Spike only, right? The Pfizer, Moderna. And I'm seeing advantage also, Pak Djohan, from the map, from the plasmid map that you show us. So when you express multiple proteins, of course, they will respond to multiple antigens. Yeah, so the mutants, yeah, or the new variants have a lesser chance to escape, Pak. Yes. If my eyes, yeah, my meager 10 seconds when I look at the plasmid map, I think this one, yeah, the advantage is the mutants have a less chance to escape, Pak. Am I right, Pak?
Yes, Pak. Unless the mutation happened in the three places at the same time.
Yes, at the 3 places at the same time.
And we also know that at the nucleocapsid,
yes,
seldom mutated, Pak. The mutation is not happen so frequently in the nucleocapsid protein. That's why we believe that the vaccine can, you know, more effective across the variant.
And I think it's because nucleocapsid is very conserved part, and it is very critical and cannot get mutated part. Spike protein, they are more freedom of mutation there, so the virus can survive. But nucleoprotein, the virus will have a reduced effectivity if they got a mutation. I think, yeah, it's a good move part to include the NP in the plasmid part. Yeah, hopefully we can have this DNA vaccines that's widely available, so we can end the pandemics together. But so I will applaud Kalbe's Ganaxim effort there to create DNA vaccines. But
thank you, Pak Richard.
Yeah, welcome.
So we hope, yeah, we also hope that we can complete the phase 3 study as soon as possible, and then can get this vaccine for Indonesian people.
Oh, yes, Pak.
Early next year.
Okay, Pak. Yeah, this is a good hope, Pak, for everyone, Pak, in Indonesia.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we'll move on to the question from the participants. Yeah, it's from Rika, another simple question, but perhaps need official answers from both of you. Yeah, how do we respond to those who don't believe in vaccines and spread fake news? Yeah, it happens everywhere. Yeah, who would like to answer?
Okay.
Richard.
Okay. It's a tricky one. But who will start? Who will start answering for this?
Okay, I will.
Okay, Pak.
Yeah, I will just share my opinion about this. Yeah. So I think I believe people, you know, don't want to be vaccinated because they're afraid maybe the side effect of the vaccine, and also a lot of misinformation about vaccine that are not true. So I think it is our duty together, you know, to educate, to explain, and then to spread the science, so that we can overcome all this misinformation. I think this is the distraction in our effort to create the herd immunity to get out of this pandemic. We see what happened also in the US. They face a lot of problem also because of this misinformation.
Yep.
Yeah. So So I think the only way is through education, through spreading the right information, through convincing people through science. So I think we need to do this together, because I think we don't want Indonesia to be trapped into the situation like what happened in other parts of the world, that will make us more difficult to go through this pandemic, because the economic effect of this pandemic is huge. And I think it will really impact the welfare of all Indonesian people if we cannot overcome this situation as soon as possible. So I think that's the only way. Let's work together.
Pak Richard, you would like to add?
Okay, probably I will do a very short but sweet answer, Pak. Bapak Ibu, listen only from the trusted sources. I keep saying this to my students, yeah, because every single one in the world tends to listen to people with a lot of followers rather than people with the correct expertise. That is the biggest problem. They will hear about the diet tips from the celebrity who had 20 million followers, much better than a pure nutritionist, PhD, but only have 100 followers. They listen to the 20 million one. Yeah, that is always the issue, right? This is the power of the social media and digital, marketing. Yeah. So how are we going to tackle this issue? Yeah, because a lot of these experts also not exposed very much to the social media. So what every one of us here can do, make sure that we share the information from the correct expert. Yeah. So you share only tips on how to take care of your teeth from a dentist, not from a mechanic, not from a singer, because they lack the competency. From the dentist, yes. Same thing with this. If you want to hear about information about vaccines, make sure you listen from the legit government bodies like Kementerian Kesehatan, people who are good in biomedicine or medical school. Yeah, the correct expertise, not from the random celebrity who have podcasts with 20 million followers, keep blabbering, oh, I don't need vaccines, yeah, sport will do, can protect all of us, then everyone will hear. Yeah, that is our problem. I believe it is not only Indonesia's problem, it's everywhere else in the world. The more famous you are, the more they will listen to you. Now we need to correct this. Hear from people, yeah, who are competent, not because they are famous, not because they are handsome, or not because they have this certain gimmick. Yeah, this is my simplest way of educating.
Thank you very much, Richard. It's very right on, spot on, because it's happening everywhere, and I hope the participants will, realize. And the webinar, this webinar is also one of the ways to, give correct and accurate information on this issue. Yeah. All right. So we have several minutes left, like 10-ish minutes. It's almost praying time for our Muslim brothers and sisters. So perhaps a closing statements from both of you. As the director of one of the largest pharmaceutical company in Southeast Asia, and also you, Pak Richard, as the scientist and academician regarding the pandemic and the future of healthcare technology. Yeah, perhaps Pak Djohan would like to give the statement. Thank you, Pak. Oh, you're still muted. Sorry.
Yeah, I think through this webinar, I hope that we can understand the situation better, understand what is going on, what effort that we are doing now, and maybe I expect all of us can try to contribute to overcome this situation. And on the other hand, I also hopefully this webinar also attracts some interest among the audience to study further into biotech and also biomanagement and this kind of things, because we already start this initiative, and I find it difficult to find a good talent, a skilled talent in biotech industry. So we really need more people interested in studying biotech and then can contribute further together with us in the industry to build this biotech industry in healthcare. Yeah, I think that's what we hope we can achieve through this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Djohan. Thank you very much. Yeah, Pak Richard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like from my side, yeah. Even if you see endeavors, you see this as a challenges, loss, and etc. Yeah, but with our knowledge, with our persistence, and with our insight to look at the condition, yeah, we can of course turn this into opportunity, yeah, business opportunity. We can turn this to become a solution, for every one of us that do not involve only the scientist. Yeah, you can, yeah, you yourself, I'm sure you have seen how Kalbe have put effort, yeah, in the not only in the scientific way, but of course the business development, insight and marketing, commercialization, legal, right? And you can see like how these aspects intertwined, yeah, how you can translate the scientists, yeah, and work together with the management, with the human resource, with the funding and finances, with the business strategy, etc., so that we can implement, we can commercialize this vaccine. As what Pak Djohan mentioned, yeah, even the pharmaceutical companies in Southeast Asia do not make this move like Kalbe Farma. Am I right, Pak Djohan? This is what I can understand.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Pak Djohan. So, this concerted effort, yeah, by the academician, scientists, business development, marketing, legal, etc., make a very harmonious move. Yeah, so we can see that how important this, what we call it, biomanagement part, to materialize opportunities, not only to help people of Indonesia to race against the pandemics, but of course we will involve multiple disciplines to make this come true. Yeah, so that is my take-home message for you.
All right, wonderful. Wow, what an insightful night. What an insightful webinar this evening. Yeah, I hope Bapak Ibu all participants learn a lot and learn valuable knowledge this evening. I myself learned a lot from this webinar. So thank you once again, Pak Richard, Pak Djohan. We really appreciate your time and your willingness to share the knowledge. And I hope it will be very helpful for all of us here. So yeah, my name is Pinkan. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all participants, for the questions. And I give it back to the MC, Miss Azalia and Gabriel.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Pinkan. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's webinar. Thank you so much, Pak Djohan and Pak Richard, for the sharing knowledge that has been given. Thank you so much, Miss Talita, for moderating today's event. I'm along with my partner and our speaker would like to leave this session. Thank you so much. Stay safe and stay healthy. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much, Pak Djohan, Pak Richard.
Thank
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, stay safe and healthy, everyone.
Stay safe.
Thank you, Pak.